Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Hey Mando, the Mandalorian wrap-up show here that we do every week after an episode of The Mandalorian drops. Joining me as always, I'm your host, Brad Hughes. Joining me as always, my co-host, the wonderful, the lovely Mr. Evan. What does he say in Episode 3? The one, the only,
Mr.
Evan
Mickey
Boucher.
Mouse.
What's up, buddy?
Hello there.
How's it going?
Going great, man.
Okay.
I don't know if you watched. Well, actually, I do know for a fact that you did not watch the holiday special. But
Oh, see, that's where you would be incorrect, sir.
you actually watched it?
I watched a little bit of it last
Did
night
you hate
as the
it?
kids.
I love it. I know it's not canon, and I'm never going to say it's canon, but I thought it was cute and funny, and I love it.
Watched 15 minutes of it.
Okay.
So I didn't even
The
get
first
off the
15 are like the
Falcon.
slowest parts.
Really?
so,
Because I thought
yeah.
that was pretty cool, like seeing Rey train Finn. See,
Okay.
I watched it, see?
Yeah, you did. He's not making this up.
Then the part where we stopped watching it because it was like late and we're putting the kids to bed was the part with the like Poe comes out with like a Christmas sweater on.
Okay, and he's all about tip-yip. I
Yes,
love that part.
the
It's like,
tip-yip.
tip-yip.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like Rose is like, so it's not a tip-yip recipe. Like
Exactly.
that, I thought it was funny. So
Okay. Well, you didn't get to the part where you would probably start hating it yet.
Okay.
But it's still funny. It stays consistently funny through the whole thing.
Okay.
But
It's a good humor. Like
Yeah.
I love the Lego Movie.
yeah.
I've never done anything with the Star Wars Lego stuff except like play a few of the video games, not like all the way through. Just play
Right.
like passively play them.
Those take some time. Those
Yeah,
games
they're
are long.
They're very
Yeah.
long.
Yeah.
and repetitive.
Yeah, very
Um,
much so. But they're perfect for like the age group they're
Yeah.
like dedicated to.
My kids liked it. It was just
Yeah.
bedtime. I mean,
Yeah.
we're gonna finish watching it at some point, but
Nice.
it was. I enjoyed it.
I'm
thought it was
biased
pretty
because
cute.
I have like I collect the Legos and Star Wars Legos are like my jam.
Yeah.
But I still I loved it. I thought it was funny. But I'm
It's
glad
good.
this is what Disney should do more often, I feel like. Just don't take it seriously
Oh, I agree.
everywhere.
I
Like
agree
Star Wars
100%.
weekends used to be the shit. But like
That's where I go. Like no. Like
Yeah, I get that.
if you're gonna do it in the parks, especially now when you have Galaxy's Edge.
wait, that
Well,
you
I
keep-
guess-
you
I guess
keep the
you-
two canon and everything outside
I was
of the
gonna
two.
I was gonna say that would work,
Yeah.
but I think like having like the
the dance off,
that's all
hyperspace hoopla.
that's all too much.
That was funny. I love those.
But because and the reason I say that is because like that's what people were afraid of when Disney
bought it, and
Lucasfilm
they
was
doubled
that-
down and did the opposite.
Yeah, and so I think they should just let it be,
Yeah,
I would encourage a Star Wars weekends again.
definitely.
I think I never got to go to one.
Neither did I. I'm just
And-
from YouTube. This is my only and hearsay of people going.
Yeah,
But-
I've heard it was a blast.
Yeah,
I mean, it had Darth Maul. I mean,
Darth
that's-
Small.
That's
yeah,
pretty cool.
yeah. That right there sells me because I'm all about awful puns.
I just don't like the Mickey Jedi Mickey.
I agree with that, and
all
Darth
that stuff
Goofy.
I hate.
I agree
just
with
hate
that.
it. I hate it. I think it's
Yeah.
so stupid and like
Yeah.
so childish and just I don't know. But anyway,
Who
we're
would be Kylo Ren right now? What character?
what do you mean?
If they did like a Darth Goofy, or who'd be Kylo Goofy or something?
That's a fun game.
Yeah.
It would be like Rey Mini.
Well, yeah. Her and Daisy are the only female like leads we have.
I
so
guess it would be Pete. Could be Kylo Ren.
they'd have to like use Pete actually though, and
They
they
could
hardly
use
ever
Pete.
do.
Did you watch the new Mickey Mouse shorts?
I haven't. The one they've been advertising and
It's
pushing hardcore.
so good.
Yeah.
They're both fantastic.
Okay,
The
I'll watch them
fir-
soon.
I watched them both last night. With
I was
the kids
watching some
also.
Clone Wars last night. Some of the Darth Maul episodes.
Gotcha.
So
That
okay.
stuff's good, man.
Yeah.
Stuff's real good. All right, let's talk Mandalorian. So we were able to finally watch this one together. We watched the first one together, and
Yeah.
then this one together, and then we're gonna watch next week's together.
Yeah.
Hopefully, it depends on when I get back.
And I think this week and next week are going to be like the heaviest episodes.
I think so too, especially
And,
with
yeah.
how this episode starts.
We got some heavy stuff this week.
So this week we're talking about Chapter 12, The Siege, which was directed by Carl Weathers, a.k.a. Grief Karga.
Yeah.
What were your overall impressions of this episode?
It's the first non-spoilery title. So, like, that was cool. Being like, okay, I have no idea what the siege could mean.
Totally.
I mean, like, it makes you think, like, the Siege of Mandalore, but obviously it's not, and
Mhm.
it can't be that. But, like, this was easily my favorite episode of this season. Perhaps the whole series.
It's
so
my
far.
favorite of the series.
I loved it.
I
And
keep saying that every week, but the show keeps doing better
I know
and better
you
every
have,
week.
and, like, that's not, there's no, that doesn't make that not valid. That
Yeah.
your favorite is, like, whatever's the new
it
one.
keeps building.
But for me, it was like Chapter 10 was my favorite of Season 2, and now this one's my favorite of Season 2. So, yeah, it does. It keeps building. But I really love this one. I don't have a single, like, complaint. Well, I have one complaint. Like, one character, I was like, meh. But aside from that, I love the whole episode.
I wonder what... Oh, I know which character it
Yeah.
is.
Yeah.
The Mithril.
The Mithril.
Yeah,
Yeah, I don't understand why he's still a thing.
He's a
Why are they?
slapsticky.
Yeah, why are they bringing back Mando and the Mithril? Like, why
I don't
are
know.
we bringing
It's
these
weird.
guys back?
I don't know.
Strange.
It's very odd. So do you have notes? I have notes. Let's just bounce off. You go
Notes
first.
on notes.
Notes on notes for days. We got notes for days over here. So when this one first started, so it starts off with the Razor Crest kind of floating through space, as I think like every episode does, and then you see that they're trying to fix the ship themselves, and he's actually using the child to get into like a little space he couldn't get into.
Yeah.
And he's trying to explain to him, take the red wire and put it where
the blue
wire
one
was.
Yeah.
And
don't let them touch.
Don't let them touch
because they're
oppositely charged. And he ends up getting electrocuted, and it's the cutest thing I've ever seen.
I don't know how much you're going to remember it because it's Marvel, and I don't know how much you like Guardians of the Galaxy 2. But this was like...
I like Guardians 2 better than Guardians 1.
I do too. But this was like straight Guardians 2 for me when Rocket's explaining to Baby Groot the explosives.
Oh, yeah.
He's like, now do not push the giant red button that will kill us all.
Yeah, because if you do that, it'll kill us all.
Yeah, Baby Groot's like, I am Groot. No, how did you get that? I said not to do that. That's what this was. This was like straight Baby Groot.
I forgot about that, but
Rocket.
yeah, that's definitely Guardians vibes.
And at the end of this episode, we get more Baby Groot when Baby Yoda throws up a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah, Baby Groot pukes up a little bit in Guardians too. I got like some Baby Groot, Baby Yoda vibes, but that's not a bad thing. Like they're both adorable. But yeah, that was cool though. It shows us how communicative Baby Yoda is, or how he's not.
He's getting to understand a little bit. I mean, if he was able to pull out the wires from direction, I mean, he's got...
Yeah.
So you actually said to me when we were watching it that you think that him getting electrocuted and being okay is actually like a foreshadowing for the Emperor.
It could be. Yeah, it could be reaching. It could be reaching, but like, yeah, if he can get shocked by two oppositely charged wires, maybe he can
be
survive.
that little.
Yeah,
and be fine.
Maybe he can survive Force lightning.
Sith lightning.
Because Yoda in Revenge of the Sith gets hit with lightning, and he survives.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Could be reaching, but yeah, maybe it's all connected.
Maybe it's like a species trait.
Could be. I mean, humans have got hit with it. Like Luke. Luke gets hit with it and survives.
Yeah.
So.
Father,
please.
No.
Yeah, I don't like that.
No.
What do you think on that? Do you like that ad in the special edition? Does it serve any purpose?
Let me answer it with one word. No. I think it's stupid.
Gotcha. I agree.
A lot of the changes they did were dumb. We should do an episode of the good and bad changes of that.
Yeah.
Because there's some good ones, and then there's some ones like Return of the Jedi that just makes the movie almost unwatchable.
Yeah.
I literally don't know what he was thinking when he was doing those. Anyway, that's a whole different show for another day. So they end up realizing they can't fix the ship themselves, so then they decide, let's just go to Navarro.
Well, we finally see a rare instance of Mando feeding Baby Yoda. Like he's finally getting a little food here.
And eating and drinking with
he lifts up the helmet a little bit.
And you see like Baby Yoda looks up at him.
Like, oh, yeah. So that's maybe showing a little bit of how he's getting lenient on the helmet rule.
Because he's doing it in front of him now.
Yeah, he's like, well, these other Mandos take their helmets off.
Yeah.
And they said I was a part of a cult. So maybe. He's coming around to it. That's when he goes, so maybe we should go see some friends on Navarro. So they're going back to Navarro from season 1 with Greef Karga and Cara Dune. And this is finally, we've seen everything from the trailer now.
Yep.
In this episode.
Have 4
speeder
episodes
bikes left. And Greef and Cara Dune. So we've seen the whole trailer.
Yep.
And we have 4 chapters left.
That's awesome.
Yeah. And we didn't see Gideon in the whole trailer, and now we have 4 more chapters of Gideon, hopefully.
I think you'll see him I think you might see him at the end of next week's episode.
Yeah.
And then you're going to see him at least 2 more times.
Well, chapter 13 would be too much going on if it was Gideon plus possibly Ahsoka plus Mando and Baby Yoda, possibly, like we said last chapter, possibly Ezra, it'd be too much going on. So I'm okay with waiting 1 more week for Gideon. All that in mind.
Yeah.
So they land on Navarro, and you called this out immediately. Like when Greef tells these dudes to fix up the ship, one of the dudes has a look back over his shoulder shot. And
it's so short. It's like I have a inherent distrust of people.
Oh yeah,
and I was just
I'm getting it too now. So
I was like, that guy's gonna put a tracking beacon on the Razor Crest.
Yeah, and sure enough, it circles back at the end of the episode. And this is the most Star Wars thing ever. Like a tracking beacon on the ship as you're fixing it. That's what happened. Well, they didn't fix the Falcon, but in A New Hope, they put a tracking on the Falcon beacon.
Yep. A tracking on the Falcon beacon?
A tracking on the Falcon beacon, yeah. That's a tongue twister.
It's early in the morning. Beacon. Cut us some slack.
Yeah, that too.
Well, it's not really early. It's 11:30.
It's early for us.
It's definitely early for me lately. I was up
Right.
to...
So this is when we get some like heavy exposition dump. Like Grief is now not a magistrate. What's he say he's doing? He's like just taking care of all the books, like the financials.
He's like the bookkeeper.
Yeah, of like the whole planet. And Cara Dune is basically Cobb Vanth,
She's
at least
the
of
marshal.
the city.
I mean, they call her the marshal.
Yeah, she's the marshal of at least the city, which we don't know the name of the city. Unless
Navarro
Navarro is
Prime.
the city and not the planet.
I think the planet's Navarro.
I think so too. So I don't know what the name of the city is.
Oh, well.
But she's the marshal of whatever the city is. But they say she's basically cleaned up the whole planet, which is insane. She's like, this is the green zone. We're safe here. We had this one little Imperial outpost. Like
You skipped a whole section.
Oh, I did, yeah. Yeah. They drop off the child.
They drop the child off.
But these child drop-offs that we're seeing this season make sense.
Yeah, because he's trying to keep him out of harm's way.
Yeah, and he's not
versus
just seeing,
like
he's not like, hey,
we're
random
actively
person.
on the run. Because remember, they think that in the season 2 that Moff Gideon's a toast.
Yeah, we see it in this chapter.
So they think
Gideon's dead.
He's dead.
So
like,
bounty
there's no
hunters
reason
are the
for them
biggest,
to be that worried about it. Because Grief Karg is the head of the bounty hunter.
Right.
Guild,
and if they're on
so
Grief's planet, like
they're fine.
Yeah, and Grief takes them to this school, which used to be the bar from season 1.
Mm-hmm.
So Grief is like, he's safe here. It's fine. At first, Mando's like, no, he's not. But Grief talks him into it.
Please, Mando.
He leaves him at the school.
I just
Dude,
love
Grief completely
Karga.
like grandpa'd out all
I know.
over Baby Yoda. He's like,
He's
oh, hey, baby.
him. He's like, you taking care of him? Yes, you are.
And then he's like, oh, he said yes.
He said yes.
Yeah, he completely grandpa'd out.
I loved it.
Yeah, it's so cute. And I mean, he directed this episode, though. He's like directing himself and the puppet.
I always wonder
probably
how
in
that's
this
got to
scene.
be hard.
Yeah. Because, like, you can talk to other people and be like, hey, next scene, try to do this differently. Or, like, do this.
Yeah.
But, like, how do you internally tell yourself, I guess?
I don't know.
Do you think he puts on a director's hat and faces one way and says, hey, do this, and then takes the hat off and faces the other way?
I've always wondered, like, if it's something he just goes into, like, he thinks about it ahead of time. He's like, this is the emotional need for this scene. Or if someone else is, like, off to the side kind of telling him.
Maybe.
And he's just, like, in charge of everything else.
Maybe someone directs him and he directs everybody else. Not him specifically, but people when they direct their
The
own
hardest one,
things.
I think, for directing yourself would have been Bradley Cooper in A Star is Born.
I haven't seen that.
You
but
haven't?
No. But I can believe that.
That's a rough movie, dude.
That dude's talented, though.
That's a rough movie.
I bet.
In the shadow, la, 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 la. I'm so sick of that song. I always mock it every time I hear it now. So he sits there. He sits next to this kid.
Well, before they drop him off at the school, we see in the background
Oh, you
the
just pointed this out
IG-11
to me.
statue.
Yeah,
In like a courtyard. So I don't know if the town thinks IG is a hero. He is a hero.
he's definitely a hero.
Yeah,
but
so I
like,
don't know if the town has heard the stories or if Grief said build this because this guy's a badass or what they did.
but this indicates that some time has passed, and this is what I was talking about
this
before.
whole
Like,
scene
how
does.
much time has gone here?
No idea. If two people can clean up a whole planet, like how
And
long?
erecting a statue of their fallen buddy.
Yeah, and fix the whole town, fix the whole planet, have them build a statue, convert a bar to a school. Yeah, like, I don't know. We don't know how much time has passed.
It's a mosquito. Ah! I missed
Gideon
him.
hasn't done anything to reveal himself in this time, though, because they think he's dead. So I don't know if it's been years of him hiding. It can't be years.
Can't be years.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm thinking like months or two. Like a month or two.
Some chapters are just back to back.
Mhm.
They're Force Awakens, Last Jedi.
Yeah.
But other chapters,
Most of them are, I think.
Yeah, most of them. But like, I don't know how much time passed from last episode.
It's
last
got to be
chapter
like
to
a
this
month or
chapter.
two.
Maybe. It depends too. Excuse me, like how much he can use light speed. Because like with Frog Lady, he couldn't use light speed, so maybe that one took a couple weeks.
That
You
could.
know?
This I hadn't thought about that, but yeah.
Yeah.
And they may have been on there for a while.
Yeah. So if he's using light speed, obviously it's not going to take a week to get to a planet.
Yeah.
Because I mean, their galaxy isn't that big, so it could take a day or two max. But so it's probably it's like there's nothing canon saying this, but I'd say everything so far has been a couple months.
I would say
Right.
that's probably best.
All
like
of
a good idea too.
Season 1 and Season 2 are probably a month or two. Nothing canon says that yet, but maybe we'll get a timeline or something that indicates it.
I'm sure it's probably close to that. I mean, they're not going to want too big of a gap for this, I wouldn't think.
No, yeah.
So they drop baby Jojo, which is what my niece calls him. 'Cause she can't say Yoda, so we call him baby Jojo now.
And we get a little more exposition that's like, Grief is like, the Empire couldn't settle this far out in the Outer Rim. Why does the New Republic think they can?
Yeah.
They're like, government should
actual
just leave us
quote-
alone. Let us
The
do
actual
it.
quote is,
Yeah, that was
if the Empire
paraphrasing.
couldn't settle it, what makes them think they could? Talking
Exactly.
about the New Republic.
Yeah. they're so far out in the Outer Rim. They're not as far as Wild Space. Like, they're not as far as Batuu, but, like, they're out there. They're like Tatooine levels of out there.
And so they go in and they sit down. And this was the most interesting scene. By the way, I know I've said this before. I urge everyone to watch the show with the captions on. Because
I urge you to do it both. You have to watch it twice, I think.
I agree.
Take it in yourself without trying to read every single word.
Yep.
But then do what you're saying.
Because you get this cool exposition from this protocol droid about
the history of the galaxy.
They're talking about Coruscant and what else? You picked up on a bunch of stuff. I didn't
Coruscant, she mentions, is the old capital planet, capital city.
So it's not the capital anymore.
Not anymore.
Hosnian Prime is now, right?
Not yet. It's at this point Chandrilla. Because Mothma and Leia both say, let's demilitarize and let's move our capital from place to place so nobody can just blow us up. So that's what they do. They jump around. So at this point in time, it's Chandrilla, which is Ben Solo's home, which at this point, Ben could be 4 years old.
Yeah.
Done the math. So we could see baby Ben. We won't.
You know how cool that would be if it like just...
yeah, I know how cool
you see like a New Republic, okay, imagine
he'd be with Leia at this point. Han's left.
Yes. So imagine like, like the New Republic X-Wing pilots.
Yeah.
We see them like go into an office somewhere and she's like, it's Leia.
You just see somebody in a white, a Leia-esque outfit.
And she's like holding the baby.
Well, he'd be a toddler, but yeah, holding like a 4-year-old.
That would be so dope.
Yeah. And they wouldn't even have to say it. Like, don't like exposition all over. Be like, it's Ben Solo and Leia. Like, look at this. It's them. And it'd just be like, tell them a message.
Hi, Leia.
Yeah.
Or how's the child? Point, how's the baby been?
At this point, she's not a general. She's probably like a...
Well, this is...
She's not a senator.
But this is when she was running... This is... what's the book I love?
Not Aftermath.
No, absolutely
Leia, not Princess of Alderaan. Right?
Bloodlines.
Yeah. This is when the galaxy finds out she's
related to
Vader's daughter. Yeah. So what's she running for? What's the position?
She's running for...
This is after her Jedi training, too.
Yeah. No, is it?
Yeah. Because she says, I'm not going to affect the galaxy as a Jedi because it's going to cause the death of my son. I'm going to go affect the galaxy as a politician. That's the path she chooses. Honestly, they could even do what they did for Rise of Skywalker. Have Billy Lord, like, motion capture.
I would love that.
That'd be awesome.
I'd love it.
Yeah. That was a huge
Or they could just do it Rise of Skywalker and just reuse footage of her from
that too.
episode 7 and 8.
Well, yeah.
She'd be too old.
Age-wise, wouldn't look... Yeah.
Anyway, so...
But you don't really get those bits of knowledge without the subtitles. Because they say it's so quiet in the background.
You can't hear it.
You'd have to be sitting right next to the speaker and have it like
blaring.
Cranked. Yeah. But the subtitles show the protocol teacher droid is saying that.
I love that droid. I mean, I know it's C-3PO.
We didn't even get her name either. We just know it's a...
I wish they would stop doing that. Like,
yeah, that's all Mando's doing at this point.
Me nuts.
Yeah, like if it's not a main character, who cares? That's what the show's doing.
So I know we said up top that this was our favorite episode of the show, but it was at this point I looked at you and I was like,
filler episode? Yeah,
great. And
Yeah.
you were like, we were both like, yeah, it seems
right
like
now
it.
It's looking like it.
And then it just goes like
180.
And we were like, oh.
And you're like, it's not. Okay.
It's not a filler episode at all. So then they go to this other room and they start talking about, like you said, the green zones and the red zones.
Yeah.
And there's only one red zone left on the planet, and it's this Imperial base, and they think it's just this like Imperial stronghold.
weapons
armory, essentially.
Yeah.
So their plan is because it's on top of like a volcano, essentially.
Yeah. I mean, Navarro's a lava planet, not to the extent as Mustafar, but yeah.
Or what's the Sullust?
That's Sullust is a planet. I forget what it is though.
Sullust is in. If this is the same one I'm thinking of, it's in Battlefronts. Lava everywhere.
Okay, then yeah.
I think it's Sullust.
It's not to the extent of that planet either, but they say it's a skeleton crew holding down this facility. So, like,
and I think there's like nothing really going on there.
There's so if Mando,
we're gonna go take this little thing out.
Kara, another badass, go in with Grief, he's a badass, just not to the extent of them probably, but if 3 badass go in, they can probably take it out. So they do.
So they go and they decide to get over there, and this is where
they take the stupid Mithril
with them and he's in a land speeder.
They keep convincing him to do things like it's Davy Jones, like years off your sentence.
Years off your sentence. How about house 30 years off?
Yeah. So that's how they keep convincing him to do stuff. But like, why bring him? It's not like he's good at anything. What's he bring to the table?
I think Grief just doesn't trust him.
Well, no. But like, if you leave him back in that room, what's he gonna do? Run away again?
Run off? Yeah.
At this point, though, cut your losses. Who cares?
Yeah, he's an idiot.
I don't know. If it was just comedic relief. Well, I mean, maybe just a body. They're like, hey, if you die and we don't, it's cool.
True.
I don't know.
That. I don't know. Yeah, it's just... It's for diversity, Evan. Blue people have to be represented, too.
I guess.
So they get to the base, and they start making their way through. And the first thing when they get there is they're trying to get into like the elevator, and then Mando just uses his jetpack and goes up to the top and just throws the stormtrooper off.
Yeah,
which is
a body just
classic Mandalorian, just making everything super violent.
Yeah, that's the old way. That's the old Mandalorian way.
I love it.
Yeah.
Just murdering people, and then they get up there, and he's like, "I thought you said this was like a small."
And he's murdered like 4 other stormtroopers around the elevator. So we've seen him kill like 4 or 5 people in like 5 minutes.
So good. And
we didn't really see it happen. It's implied, obviously, that he took him out.
So
they get up to the main hangar, and there's like a transport, like a little Imperial military-esque transport.
It's the same one we see from the last episode of season 1.
This one's a little different. This one's not troop transport heavy because it has a cannon on it. It doesn't have like those little troop doors.
I thought it was the same exact thing. It's not.
No, it's a little different, but it's Rebels-esque.
Gotcha.
It's like from that era, time period. So that's when they're like, oh yeah, they say this base is run by like one main reactor, which is Empire. It's how they do stuff.
Yeah.
Like everything's just run by one main area.
So the plan's essentially to flood it with its own lava.
Yeah.
Reduce the coolant so that messes up.
Yeah.
Basically explode your engine and make it
overheat
it and make everything go.
So they forced the Mithril to go out on this tiny platform with no handrails, and he even says that, which
no guardrails.
There's no handrails or guardrails, and he's like, I'm afraid of heights. And
How's 10 more years off sound? Okay.
Yeah. So he goes and he deactivates it or whatever. So then they have like 10 minutes. They're like, how long do we have, Grief? And he's like, 10 minutes. So they're running out of the base, blasting their way out. And this is where we get the coolest extra in all of Star Wars now.
Yeah.
Jeans and T-shirt guy.
Jeans and T-shirt guy. If you go to minute time marker, 18 minutes, 54 seconds, you'll see a dude in the background.
Like half a dude. You don't even see his face. Like
It's just his left arm and left leg, and it's clearly jeans and a T-shirt.
Yeah.
They left him in. It's our first Game of Thrones moment.
It is. When they had
like
a coffee cup or something.
Oh, they had like every episode was something.
Really? Wow.
That last season was a disaster, it sounds like.
Wow.
I didn't watch the show.
This is still my favorite episode, but
me too.
That's a mistake.
I like stuff like that. Like it's
Hashtag jeans are canon. That's all I'm going to say.
It reminds me of the stormtrooper bumping his head or something. Yeah. It's something small like that that's not a big deal, and it just is what it is. It's what it is.
Well, in the Phantom Menace, in one of the palaces on Naboo, you can see an outlet that they plugged her dress into. So there's stuff like that all over Star Wars.
It's just it's part of it. I mean, sometimes it's just what it is.
Yeah, that's just part of filmmaking too. It's not just Star Wars. So
it's what it is.
But there's some good gunfights in this. There's some cool gunplay.
Good stuff.
Like,
very well directed.
Yeah,
cinematography was fantastic on this. And so my favorite part of this is kind of when I knew something was about to go down.
Just by dialogue alone.
When they go in and they
start blasting these dudes.
They
at a
start
control
shooting
panel.
it, and then they go, destroy it.
Yeah,
and
one dude yells, destroy it, and he starts blasting the control panel.
And I was like, oh, what are they trying to hide?
This is more Nazi-esque stuff.
So they get in there. They eventually
kill these two dudes at the control panel.
And you pointed out that they have
the same Kaminoan patch that Dr. Pershing has.
Which is so interesting.
But it's also weird because we just minutes ago before the show started, we're like, they're not Kaminoans. Those tall, long aliens from Attack of the Clones.
Little guys that talk like this.
Right. Yeah.
Master Kenobi.
They're not those tall dudes.
Ordered this from a long time ago.
Yeah, so...
Is that how they talk?
Something like that.
Yeah, I can't remember.
Lama Su, I think, was the prime minister. I forget all their names, but those dudes those are Kaminoans.
That's the best part of Attack of the Clones. Is that whole...
Well, because it's all Obi-Wan, first off. Like, if you focus
Jango.
on him, Unchained.
Jango Unchained.
But... So that I don't know. I don't understand how these humans are Kaminoans, but the Empire was racist, so maybe they went and wiped out Kamino and replaced them with humans.
I don't know. Here's my theory on it: is I think that they found out what the Kaminoans were doing, and like just kind of like, oh, this is ours now. All this cloning facility and all this stuff is ours.
Yeah.
Which would make sense. That's what the Empire does. So that's just kind of how I think that would go down. But then you see the Mithril, they see these like tubes.
Yeah.
And there's these like
super
ominous.
Vague what's in them.
But they're huge.
It's like 3 of them?
And I jokingly at first, I think it's like 5 of them.
Maybe 5? It's
a bunch.
There's one centralized, so I know it's an odd number.
And the one they were focusing on, I jokingly go, it's Snoke. Like just being silly.
Yeah.
At first. And then.
Then you pointed this out.
And then, so they go, then you hear the music changes.
Yeah.
And it's Snoke's theme.
Yeah. At first, I'm like, it's just not like an ominous choral type. Oh,
I'm gonna show you. I'm gonna
but
show
then
you.
you're like, no, it's Snoke's theme.
It's Snoke's theme. I'm gonna show you in the episode.
And I
audio.
shouldn't ever doubt that, especially now, because Snoke is your dude. He's
Snoke's
been your
my guy.
dude for
I've been
5
a
years.
Snoke fan
5.5, 6
forever.
years. Yeah, as long as he's been around. You've been Snoke from day one. You're an OG Snoke. You're a Snokle.
I've been a Snoke diehard
That's what
since-
Holly calls him, Snokels.
Snokels.
Yeah.
Yeah, she calls him Snoke. I have a Snoke action
Everything.
figure. I mean, I literally have been a Snoke fan since The Force Awakens.
Yeah.
I've always liked him.
You're not like me with Kylo, where I love Kylo now, but
No,
I've said it many
I'm
times.
the real deal. I am not
had
a
to come
poser.
around to him. Yeah, I'm not a poser.
Sorry,
hey now.
bro. Sorry.
Hey now. Come on.
I'm going to play for you,
How dare you?
the music, and then I'm going to play you Snoke's theme so you can hear it.
So we'll start off with music from
This is the music
the
from
Siege,
the episode.
Chapter 12.
Did I go too far?
The Mando, they've been doing this a lot with music. They're using a lot of music cues. And there's more later on in this episode that are cool. They're not as probably big as this, but they've been using music cues a lot. I wonder if we'll get some like Kevin Kiner Ahsoka theme if we see
of
Ahsoka.
course. It'll swell at the end of that
Ooh,
episode.
that's
So
gonna be cool.
before I get to this, I wanted to read this, and this is what made me go, "Oh, this is totally Snoke." So then you see a holoscan. Is it holoscan?
No, it's just like a hologram.
Hologram
Yeah.
of
Dr. Pershing.
Dr. Pershing, for we saw it in the first season, episode 1
And 3, I think.
3.
I think just 3. That's when he's the doctor trying to work on the child. And
Yep.
he says he saved the child. He'd be dead if it wasn't for him, is
So
what
did
he says.
he betray Gideon, or did he just lie to the
No,
Mandalorian?
he just was like, look, if we drain all his blood, he's going to die. So he's like, I'm not going to drain all his blood.
Huh. So he said, replicated the results of the subsequent trials, which also resulted in catastrophic failure. There were promising effects for an entire fortnight, which is definitely a reference to...
Yeah, it's not like it explicitly being like, look, we put a message in this video game, Fortnite.
But it is.
Using that title is like, remember that stupid
Thing we
Fortnite
did.
message we did with Palpatine for episode 9? Like, it's just like
It's definitely a
nod.
reference.
Just a nod.
It's a nod.
Yeah.
I say reference, it's a real loose reference.
Yeah, it's not an Easter egg.
It's just using
not-
the same word.
Yeah, it's just wordplay.
Because they could have just said for an entire month.
Right.
Fortnite is
We've
10
never heard
days.
Fortnite in Star Wars.
Never.
Like, that's not a Star Wars.
And that's why
term.
I was
Yeah.
like, that's a reference.
Yeah.
But then sadly, the body rejected the blood. I highly doubt we'll find a donor with a higher M count, midichlorian.
Midichlorian count.
Higher M count, though. I recommend that we suspend all experimentation. I fear that the volunteer will meet the same regrettable fate if we proceed with the transfusion. Unfortunately, we have exhausted our initial supply of blood.
Right there, though, the exhausted their initial supply of blood is his way of saying, I don't want to kill the child.
Yep.
I'm not going to take all his blood.
The child is... So okay, so if that's the case, then that transmission is only 3 days old.
The transmission is. So maybe he didn't report to Gideon for a couple weeks or a month or whatever.
That seems unlikely.
Well, because, I mean, that doesn't mean it was 3 days ago when he took the blood out of the child.
It
'Cause you
can't be, because
Because you would have to put the blood into this patient and then
That's
watch the
true.
patient
a whole experiment
test on it and see if it
process.
lives, survives,
That's
what
true.
happens.
And
So,
we're doctors, so we should...
Yeah.
Unfortunately, it was also our initial supply of blood. The child is small, and I was only able to harvest a limited amount without killing him. If these experiments are to continue as requested, we would again require access to the donor. I will not disappoint you again, Moff Gideon. And that is when they realize that Moff Gideon's still alive, because he goes, that's got to be an old transmission. Moff Gideon's dead.
Yeah.
And then
The Mithril says
goes,
this is 3 days old.
This transmission is 3 days old. Okay.
So you got to play Snoke's music.
I'm playing this first.
Okay, so here's from the episode.
What the?
Okay.
I thought you said this was a forward operating base.
That's where they're looking at the
Tube looking.
tubes, and this is Snoke's theme from The Force Awakens.
Yeah, that's it.
That's
The
it.
same exact
That's
music
it.
cues. The same exact music cues.
That's it. So it's got to be. I'm not one of these people who goes on these rabbit holes of like, oh well, the Snoke is from that thing because it was kind of similar. This is the same. It's
And
not similar. It's
everything
the same.
they do everything for a reason. They're not just be like, okay, let's throw a dart at a dartboard and pick whatever music we land on.
Especially someone as talented as this kid who's doing this music. I forget his name.
Yeah, I forget his name too.
Johan Jorgensen.
Yeah, I mean he did music for Community, one of my favorite TV shows, with Donald Glover. But then you said a movie he did. Was it Inception? What movie was it?
He did it for Tenet.
Tenet, same thing. Tenet. It's like he's
Pretty
been
much.
big time like stuff. Like he
So-
knows his stuff. He's good. But
So
they're
it's
just not
for
going to
sure
pick
Snoke.
random crap.
It's for sure Snoke. It's absolutely Snoke.
Okay.
There's not a doubt in my mind that it's Snoke. Plus,
Okay.
I also pointed out to you that the one they're looking at and focusing
You
on,
grabbed your Snoke toy.
grabbed my
too.
Snoke toy and showed you it's the same markings on his head.
Now okay, we'll talk about this here. I'm not going to say his name, but
They can hear that for sure.
well, it's that guy. I just said his first name, so it's fine. If you didn't hear it, good. But he knows people, and I don't know their names, so I can't even say or say not those names. But he is saying that it is not Snoke.
I don't buy it.
Okay, according to him, he's saying we're not going to see Snoke. Snoke had a story. He was made by Palpatine, and that's it. This will be as close as we get to a First Order, reference.
But they've said that's not the case. They've said that you're going to see how the First Order comes to power in the show.
I know, so I don't know. He's saying that. I mean, either way, it's cool, but I don't
Snoke,
think
okay, when they say Snoke was made by Palpatine,
literally
this is
made.
still the Empire.
Yeah, this is still
This
making
is still
it.
Palpatine.
Still trying to make it.
So
I think that'd be the cooler way to go for the story, and I think you do too. Is showing us how Snoke is
For
made,
sure, you have to.
trying to put Force-sensitive blood into this man-made creation. Like that all makes sense. But another way of thinking would be Gideon wants to become Force-sensitive himself.
what does Nick?
It's okay.
What does Nick
It's not
say
his
this
last
is?
name. It's not his first name. It's just a dude because
But why are they doing this?
Gideon's plan is to become Force-sensitive himself. So he wants to put Force-sensitive blood into him, so Gideon can become Force-sensitive, which is still cool. But I'd much rather see Snoke's origins. I think that would be cooler. I don't know. I'm shocked that you reacted that way. I thought
No,
your
that's a
reaction was
cool
gonna be like, no, I
idea.
want Snoke.
I do want Snoke.
Well, yeah, I do too.
But that's
they're
not
both
a
cool
bad
stories.
idea.
But yeah, so
Huh.
because you can read that either way. You can read it as Dr. Pershing is putting Force-sensitive blood with midichlorians into these man-made clone
But my
things.
thing is why would they have all these clone bodies?
That's what they had to test it on. I don't know.
Sorry, I think I got him that time. But like I just the music cue is and the scarring is just so
On point. Like
on
it's,
point that it's
yeah.
just like hard for me. Now I don't think you're gonna see Snoke bust out the test
No,
tube
no,
or
no.
anything
And
like that.
he's not going to come
But
out
I
with
think
his gold
that's your
robes.
I
and,
think
like,
that's your reference that that's Snoke.
yeah.
I don't think you
Now,
see anything else
we
from
could
there
get
going
both.
forward.
Maybe
Yeah.
Gideon has his own side project where he's like, I'll help you make the Snoke thing, but I want to be a badass, Force sensitive, so I'm going to try to experiment and do it
But
myself.
that wouldn't work because if he's trying to like become, because it seems like Gideon's trying to become like the Emperor.
Well,
If he's trying to become Force sensitive,
not the Emperor. He's like all about Vader. Even in outside universe and interviews, Esposito's like, I'm taking this like Vader inspired.
Yeah.
Like Gideon is really based on Vader. So maybe he's another Kylo Ren-esque, like obsessed with Vader.
that'd be okay. I'm cool with either one of those. Is cool.
Yeah.
I never thought
They
that he
could
would
do both
wanna-
though, now that I think about it.
I never. I just when I said that Snoke, I don't mean that like the next episode you're gonna see Snoke
No.
crawling out of the.
We won't see
You're not
a
gonna ever
physical
see it
Snoke
again.
in Mandalorian.
No,
it's not
definitely
going to happen. No.
I think
maybe
we
that's
did.
what he meant when he's like,
I-
we won't see Snoke. Like,
Yeah,
yeah.
I think that's what he meant, and
We're not gonna see
I
Snoke.
agree with that. I don't think
Yeah.
you're gonna see.
We're not going to see Hux or
No,
Snoke.
no.
Like,
You're
Hux
not gonna
is
see
probably
anything
only
like
like
that.
10 at this point.
You might
yeah.
get a reference to when I was born on Navarro, or
Maybe.
something weird like that at some point.
Yeah, but
with
yeah,
Snoke,
it's
but-
not going to actually be Snoke with gold robes and a
No,
obsidian ring.
No. I
walking
just
around
think
killing
that
people,
was
like-
the reference. Like that's Snoke.
yeah, and it could be that because the Empire is all about mistrust and deception too. So it's
Yeah.
probably Gideon being like, "I want to be Force sensitive. I want to take
But
over."
that's a really cool storyline. Is him trying to become Force sensitive with someone else's blood. I hadn't
Yeah.
thought about that.
yeah.
That's really cool.
Which we'll jump ahead, I guess, and we'll come back because we've been doing it all episode anyway. But
Dude, I
maybe-
like that storyline a lot.
I'm shocked that you do.
That's
I thought you were
cool.
gonna be like,
No, that's
dumb.
awesome. That's
Wow,
awesome.
Okay, so maybe instead of Gideon killing
You've
Ahsoka,
never seen anybody that turned
even tried. No one's ever even tried to.
be, and it would make
that's a
sense
theme-
if there's blood, if there's midichlorians in blood.
Yeah, and
That
that's
if you
a
had like a
theme of
blood
Star Wars though
transfusion,
too.
you
Is
could
like,
become Force sensitive. That's why I've never thought of that.
yeah, But it's also like a theme of Star Wars too. Like anybody can become Force sensitive to a point.
Now
So maybe
anybody
it's
can.
gonna-
You can.
Maybe it's gonna be like if you do it unnaturally, like the Sith do. The dark side of the Force is a pathway to
Corrupts
some,
you.
Some abilities
Abilities
some
that
consider
they say to be-
unnatural.
to be
So if you do it unnaturally, maybe it doesn't work. But if you do it naturally, try to focus yourself and balance yourself,
Huh.
you can become Force sensitive. Maybe that's gonna be a theme. So I don't know.
I like it.
That's the theme of
really
Star
cool.
Wars. Anybody can become Force sensitive, and anybody can be a Jedi.
It's also the theme of Ratatouille because
Anybody
anyone
can cook. Yep.
Yep.
But maybe Gideon won't be killing Ahsoka. Maybe his plan is once he doesn't know Ahsoka exists, but once he tracks the Razor Crest to Ahsoka, maybe he's gonna be like, forget Baby Yoda. I'm gonna take Ahsoka
Because I
and
can
use
take
her
all
blood.
the blood I need, and
Yeah.
he bleeds her out.
Yeah. So maybe she isn't gonna get killed by him.
Are people
Maybe-
going to be okay with that? Like
Dave
Moff
Filoni's
Gideon-
directing it, so
Moff
yes.
Gideon killing Ahsoka?
He's not gonna kill her though. Maybe he's just gonna use her blood.
Is that Thunder?
I don't think so. I think that's a car with base.
Oh, you're right. It is.
Yeah.
Sorry.
We're on Getoween.
We're on Getaway.
But maybe, and that's the thing. Maybe they'll bust her out after Gideon captures her and takes some blood. Because I don't think Ahsoka's gonna die. Before this episode, I was like, Gideon's gonna kill Ahsoka, and that's gonna be her his Kylo killing Han Solo moment, where it's like that's how you know he's a villain because he's killed your childhood character. So that's what I thought before this, but now I think he's gonna capture Ahsoka once he finds out she's alive, and extract her blood.
I love the idea of him and putting blood in him.
I'm so shocked that you do.
That's
I don't
a really
dislike it.
smart idea.
I think
dude,
the Snoke story is
that's
better,
so
but I think they can do both.
But I don't think you need it. Like I think it's just cool to see because
But that's what
we know
wanted coming
Snoke.
into this, though. We both wanted some origins of the
But I
First
got
Order
it.
and
To me, I don't need everything explained.
No, no.
Like I don't need to see him breaking out of the tube using
No,
the
I don't
Force.
want
I don't need any of that.
I don't want that.
Like
yeah.
to me, I saw him.
Yeah.
I'm good.
So okay, you're saying this counts. It's done.
Yes, to me,
Okay.
I'm good. Like I in my heart, that is Snoke.
Okay.
Until I'm told otherwise, it's Snoke.
That's a good way to look at
Because-
it. That's how you should take canon, honestly. Until you're told otherwise,
because it
believe what
has
you
to
believe.
be. It's got it looks just like him.
They played his music.
They played the theme.
Yeah.
Why else would they do that?
Yeah.
So it is until it's not.
Yeah, that's a great way to look at it. Not just this instance, but anything in canon.
Yeah.
Believe what you believe until
it's not
is
to be.
explicitly said otherwise.
Because you never know. I mean,
Yeah.
it might not be. I mean, they
Yeah.
could be like, oh, it was some other clone army. To me, it could be that too. It
Yeah.
could be some clone army they're trying to recreate.
Yeah, and even Hux says that. No, Kylo says that in The Force Awakens. Perhaps Supreme Leader Snoke should consider using a clone army.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, we know clone armies are
Careful,
still
Ren. That's your
option.
personal
And they're talking about,
something he says.
The
Personal
droid,
interests.
I forget what it is.
Something like that.
I don't know. I feel bad now.
So
We're fake
anyway,
fans.
they start blasting
They start blasting.
and
okay,
and get out of
Danny
there.
DeVito.
and get out of there, and they take that little.
Car
Mando
jumps in
goes.
the transport.
Mando goes. I need to get the kid
Oh yeah, he blasts away.
because then he starts panicking. Like I thought.
That's when because he's like Gideon's still alive. I gotta go.
I gotta
save
go-
the
I gotta
kid.
go get him.
So he takes out. He flies out.
I thought for sure that he wasn't making it back with the kid. I thought they'd get there,
Yeah.
and that guy that looks back at him at the
that
beginning,
put the beacon on the.
they put the
Razor
beacon on the
Crest.
Razor Crest, was gonna.
Call Gideon and be
Jank him.
like, "Here's the kid,"
Yep.
which he could have. He should have. Honestly, definitely should have. Because at the end, we see this exact character call the Imperial ship
Yep.
to be like, "I put the
How
beacon on
cool
the
is it to
ship."
see the Empire again?
Oh, it's amazingly cool,
so
and it's so
good.
good that it's not a Super Star Destroyer or a Star Destroyer because it shows the Empire isn't what it used to be.
Did you see people saying that was Ray Sloan?
No, I didn't see that. I don't think that is though. She's like in command of her own stuff though. Like she's not going
At
to be
this
on
point?
someone else's ship
At this
Like,
point,
I guess she could. It's like 4 or 5 years after
and how would
aftermath.
you'd have to go from?
Yeah, it could be. I feel like we would have got more like Admiral Sloan. I've done this and this. Like we would have got like a name drop. I feel like, especially that's a
Not
huge
necessarily.
character. That would have been like if it was Cobb Vanth and they never said his name.
Yeah.
Like, hey, dude in armor, we have this. It's like,
What's your name? Don't worry about my name.
right.
I
don't have a
tell that I
name.
got a Cobb Vanth shirt coming.
You do?
I do.
Nice.
Got
Do
it.
you have the cardboard cutout of Cobb Vanth coming?
I love him.
Yeah,
Such a cool character.
he is.
And Timothy Oliphant is just an awesome actor too. Anytime I can get Star Wars and Once Upon a Time in Hollywood crossover, I'm set. I'm all for it. Okay, so then that's when they show the speeders, which seeing the speeders there was just really cool.
Yeah.
Because Scout Troopers are my favorite Stormtroopers.
Yeah.
I got a lot of my favorite stuff in this episode.
Right? No R5, though.
No R5.
He's on
That's okay.
Tatooine still.
But
we did get AR5 in one of the X-Wings at the end.
Oh, yeah, that's
so
right.
We
So
do
I
have
did get an
one
R5.
R5, not the R5.
But so they start going through this like little...
Well, Kara jumps in the
Yeah,
transport,
yeah,
and she
yeah.
goes to run over stormtroopers. They jump out of the
It's
way,
awesome.
which, okay, but it would have been awesome if she just impaled them. But so she flies off the cliff in this giant transport, and we get a canyon chase that, to me, was like straight out of Rebels. Because they
Yeah.
do this a lot in Rebels, where they take over an Imperial shuttle or an Imperial transport, and they get chased through the streets of Lothal on speeder bikes, with scout troopers on speeder bikes. So this was like straight out of Rebels to me. So they're being chased down by the speeder bikes. Gideon jumps on the cannon, and he's just picking them off kind of one by one. Two of them run into each other and killed each other. Did you notice that? Two speeder bike scout troopers crash into each other and then blow
I didn't
up.
realize that's how
yeah,
they died.
they crash into each
That's
other.
hilarious.
So two of them kill each other. So then Gideon's picking them off one by one. They get taken out. I forget if it's Gideon, Kara, whatever.
Do you want
They get taken out.
a spoiler for the next episode?
No. Why would I?
Not like a full spoiler.
Well, I don't think the listeners do, so save it.
The title of the next episode?
Oh, no, I don't want that.
I just saw it.
You're so dumb.
It was for something else. Don't read it. Don't read it. But don't read the words. But look, that's why I clicked on it. You'll understand.
Really?
Think about what I'm at.
Ugh.
Think
so
about
dumb.
what I'm on Facebook.
Yeah. No, I get what you're doing. You have to.
And so I
get it.
clicked it,
Ugh.
and then I saw that, and I was just like, oh.
Dang. I mean, it's something we already guessed, so I'm not upset. I didn't see the title, though. I'm not going to look at the title until Friday.
Man.
But then we get Outrider TIE Fighters, which are Gideon-specific, like, division of TIE Fighters.
Those things are so cool.
With the wings fold.
God,
those are
things
the
are dope.
coolest. Oh, not the coolest. I still think...
No, that's pretty dope, dude.
I still think the Interceptors are the coolest. When it comes to just general TIE Fighters, I think the Silencer and
They're
the
pretty
Whisperer
cool.
are the coolest. It is the coolest. Kylo's Silencer and Whisperer. But...
What's the Whisperer?
Well, it's just Whisper. I added the ER. That's what he has in Episode 9.
Oh,
So it's just the
that's not same
Silencer,
ship?
but upgraded. No, because the Silencer... Does it get blown up? No, he just gets a new ship. He upgrades. Yeah, the Whisper is a different ship than
I
the
thought it was the
Silencer.
same one.
Nope. But those are the two coolest TIE Fighters. But when you're talking general pilot specific, whatever you want to say, TIE Fighters, I like geez, I can't even talk. The Interceptors.
Yeah.
But
I do
the,
too. I think they
the
look
Outriders
cool.
are sick too.
Outriders are
How the
dope.
wings fold.
They're a little darker. Like
Yeah.
the black is a little more, the red's
Yeah.
a little more. I love them.
Yeah, but then we get Imperial TIE Fighters, which is awesome to
Super
see again.
cool.
I mean, you see them in Squadrons, which you've been playing a lot of, but like
Game's fun.
it's cool to see them in live action again.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you get shots in the cockpit just like A New Hope, just
And
like
they
the
did
films.
a really good job too. There was a shot where they show the pilot, and there's like a lot of dust in the cockpit,
Yeah,
and it makes it look lived in and like not
Yeah.
as pristine because they are on this like lava plant. There would be ash and everything in the air.
yeah, and they have a skeleton
It's
crew
just-
already, so like cleaning is probably not
A
priority
priority.
number one.
Yeah.
So they probably all have COVID. So but they wear masks, so they're fine.
They wear the helmets. They're
yeah.
good.
Yeah, they're good.
But
But those masks filter out smoke, not toxins,
true,
according to Finn.
according to Finn. But that's
Yeah,
First Order
that's First
stormtroopers.
Order. So they don't have COVID.
They might not filter out anything.
Yeah, so they might have COVID.
They might.
Patient 0.
Patient 0 on Navarro.
Yep.
So then there's like this cool chase, and they're shooting Grief Karga's doing its thing.
At first,
It's a terrible shot.
They blow up the turret. The cannon's gone
Yeah.
now on the transport. And at first we thought Grief was gonna die. We're like, oh, like they can't kill Grief
God,
like
please
this.
don't kill Grief. Don't let him go
No.
out that way.
So, but he's not. Thankfully, he lives. And then I was like, what if Han Solo just flies in like A New Hope and saves the day?
And I was like, please,
You're
no.
like, I will hate this. I'll be done if that happens. And I was just saying it jokingly. And at first,
I
we're
was like, no.
Like seconds after I said this, some
There's
blaster
a
fire
shot.
comes
You
in.
hear
Yeah, from the corner of the screen, the shot hits the TIE Fighter and takes it out. And we looked at each other, we're like,
oh, God.
Is Han Solo
I
coming
remember
on the
looking at you, I was
Falcon?
like, you
Like-
son of a, how dare you.
right?
You like said this into existence.
Yeah. And
And
then thankfully it's
it's the
not. It's the
Razor
Razor
Crest.
Crest. But it's definitely, I don't know, maybe a reference to that.
It's
like,
definitely
look, Han
that-
Solo came back
It
and
reminded
saved
me
the
of
day.
Crate.
That too. Well, yeah, the Falcon does the same thing on Crate.
It reminded me of Crate. Just the look of it. And
yeah. So,
I really like this.
I like this.
I like this. And then you see this cool air fight between him
that was
and
so
two.
sick.
And then that shot where they're like on opposite ends of the diagonal from the screen, and they're like
the TIE Fighters on the left, the Razorcrest
I
on the
want
right.
that
They're
as a
playing chicken.
poster.
They're basically like playing chicken.
I want that as
at each
a
other.
poster, dude. That is so sick. If that shot with like, I actually might make this and like,
You
just
could
put it out and just
it's
so
doable.
just have that shot of them there.
Yeah.
And then like put the Mandalorian
In
logo
between
there,
it?
season
Ooh,
2.
Yeah.
That would be such a dope poster.
Yeah, because that shot is beautiful.
It's one of the best shots in all of Star Wars.
Yeah.
It's so
And it's
cool.
so funny
and it's
how-
something you've never seen before.
Yeah, we really haven't. Not with ships.
No.
Like, it's something that's used a lot. Like, it was in the episode of Clone Wars I watched last night, the second episode of the Siege of Mandalore. In the throne room, you get Ahsoka on one side of the screen, Maul on the far opposite
And they're
side.
running towards each other.
Yeah, and then you get the same kind of shots in episode 9, The Rise of Skywalker, in the desert on Pisana, with the transport in between Kylo and Rey.
Yeah.
Yeah, so like those shots, those are Star Wars.
They're just cool,
Like,
man.
Two opposing forces. It's all about
It's just so
good
dope.
versus evil.
I love it.
On two sides of the screen,
And then you see Baby Yoda in there at the cockpit with his
Throwing
hands
his arms
up.
out. Whee!
It's so cute.
like having a good old time.
And then that maneuver that he does is really cool because he kind of goes
straight
up,
and then like
turns the engines
flips
off,
upside
flips
down,
upside down,
like,
and then blasts them down again.
Yeah.
Or that's before that shot, but
yeah.
that reminded me of
That
Squadrons because that's like a maneuver you can do in
Yeah, you
Squadrons.
said that during the show. I
where
was
it's like
whoa.
kind of like you're kind of doing like
you
drifting,
take powers from
essentially.
your engine and transfer it to like your shields.
Yeah.
And you can
That game's so fun. I need to play it more. I've only
But this
played it a little
dogfight
bit.
was so much fun. Like this was just a fun dogfight to watch.
And it wasn't long. It didn't.
No,
feel
it was
drawn
like
out.
2 minutes maybe, but
So
like it was
good.
the most fun 2 minutes in a long time.
Yeah, it
Like,
was fun. So,
But this is when you get the child still eating the macaroons, which we didn't mention how he got the macaroons.
I said he used the Force.
He just steals them from that little
Yeah, he uses the
that
Force
kid
because the kid's
in,
like,
in
no.
the class. Yeah.
Did we say that?
No, we haven't said
Oh,
it yet.
yeah, he uses the Force. That was
Well,
cool to see him use the
During
Force.
the scene way back at the beginning of the episode, I was like Napoleon Dynamite vibes. I was like, Napoleon, give me some of your
Give me
tongues.
some of your tongue. Give me
Get
some
your
of
own.
brains.
Gosh.
Get your own God.
So that's what I was like. But then, yeah, the child.
By the way, I
used
hate
the
that
Force.
movie.
You hate that movie?
It's so not funny.
Oh, I love it.
I don't like
Vote
that
for
kind of
Pedro.
humor. That kind
you
of,
don't at all. You don't like Spaceballs. You don't like.
I like silly,
Yeah.
like History Hyenas silly,
Yeah.
but I
They're
don't
silly.
like quirky. I guess it's just like
Yeah. I
it's
can see
not
that.
funny because you're awkward. Like
Yeah.
I don't. That doesn't make me laugh.
Yeah.
I never understood that movie.
It is the easiest humor to do.
Yeah, because it's
Yeah.
like you just set up a character who's weird.
Yeah.
And like that's the humor, but that doesn't
Yeah.
make me laugh.
So what about Borat? Do you like Borat?
Yes, because it's different.
Well,
Because
he's not awkward and weird. He's a different culture.
He's in on it, and no one else is.
That's true. That's true.
So
That's harder
it's a different
to do.
dynamic.
That's so hard to do.
Yeah, because
as
you have to
opposed
be fully committed.
Yeah.
But like John Heater or whatever his name is.
Yeah, that's his name. So what about Blades of Glory? Do you like Blades of Glory?
Yes,
you like Will Ferrell
in a
movies?
different. It's just different because it's that's silly, but
Yeah.
it's not based on random shit.
Yeah.
Like it's Napoleon Dynamite is just bizarre.
It is random. Yeah.
and
it's
it
like
makes it doesn't
he's
make
got
any
a llama.
sense.
He's got Uncle Rico
It's just-
throwing steaks.
But like a
yeah.
llama's
Yeah.
funny because it's a llama. Like I don't get that. Like that's where I go. Like what?
That
it's
is a
not
good
funny
point.
because
that
it's a
movie
llama.
is just random
A
crap.
liger. Like all
Yeah.
that crap was just like, that's funny to you guys. All right,
Yeah.
man. Whatever. Each
No,
to each
I
its own.
see it now. That's definitely 100% that movie.
But like
Like
Uncle Rico throwing a football, like that's funny
bet you I could
because
throw a
he's throwing
pigskin
a
over that
football.
mountain.
But like, that's not like that. All those scenarios just don't make like that's just not my humor.
Yeah.
I'm,
That makes
I'm-
I see it now. I never saw that from that side, but yeah, that movie is just random crap
it's
that
just,
wouldn't happen.
Just because you say random words doesn't make it funny because they're random words. Like,
yeah,
I don't know. I'm wrong because the movie was huge and everyone loved it.
no,
But
I don't.
It's just not my sense of humor.
Yeah, you're not
I
right.
get that people think it's funny. I just
Yeah.
to me it just I don't get it.
Yeah, and you can explain why it's not funny to you. That's
Yeah.
like the opposite of people are like Last Jedi sucks, and then you're like, why'd it suck? And they can't.
Well, it's because they negated everything from The Force Awakens, and then The Force Awakens negated everything, or Rise of Skywalker negated everything from Last Jedi. Well, no. Let's break this down here. No, they didn't.
Amazing. Everything you just said
Was wrong. It's so funny when people love that movie and just like I really feel like people just hear people don't like it and just repeat it.
Yeah, that's what it is. As a culture, people are like, oh, most people have said they don't like this, so I don't like it.
I'm wearing a Last Jedi hat right now. Just
You
saying.
are.
Am I? Is that what I'm wearing? Yeah, okay.
Yeah. And the sick
Oh,
pass
you see
holder
the
shirt
pass holder for
with the
back too?
coasters from
Back too?
Oga's.
Pretty cool, right?
I'm buying that, and I'm buying the Spirit jersey next time.
You're doing the Spirit jersey?
Yes.
All right, man.
First
Whatever.
Spirit jersey I
I
ever
mean,
buy.
did I
and
just
wear.
lose all respect for you as a man? Yeah, I did.
Did
That's
you have
fine,
any
though.
to begin with?
Very little.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Very, very little.
That's what I thought.
So then that's the end of the episode, and he's like, Mando,
No, that's
how
not
can
the
we
end. We
pay?
get,
Oh, no, you're right. That's not the end. So then
Carson
he
comes back.
goes, Mando, how can I pay you? And you're like,
yeah,
just call it
grief.
even on the repairs,
Yeah.
blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
And then it goes to this.
Yeah, we get Cara Dune just kind of hanging out back in the city, martial style, leaning up against a post, just like what classic Western. And Space Cop comes over. Carson, the X-Wing from the New
Actually,
Republic.
first he goes into Grief.
Oh, yeah, he's interrogating Grief.
And he's like,
so
well, we
you
know the
said-
Razor Crest.
He said
He's
the
like,
Razor Crest flew
we
away.
don't have any proof of that. This
He's
also
like, I
is
never said a Razor
pre-Imperial.
Crest. Yeah, this pre-Empire stuff can't even keep up.
The droids can't decipher between pre-Imperial.
Yeah. So Carson's like, all right, if you have anything more to tell me, you're like, just tell me.
And he's like, okay.
He's like, hey, get out of here. No puck for
No,
you.
get
Out of
here.
here. I wish he said that again.
I did
Oh,
too.
That would have been sick.
I love
But
that part.
That's my second complaint. The Mithril is number one, and he didn't say, get out of here.
No, get out of here.
So then Carson, the space cop, goes over to Cara Dune and is like, hey, you're a good fighter. Like, we could use you for what we're doing, yada, yada. And
And
New
then
Republic.
he says, remember what he asked her?
Oh, yeah, he's like,
Where are you
you're from Alderaan,
Are
right?
you from Alderaan?
And
she's
he's like, I'm
"Did
sorry
you
for
lose-
your loss.
Did
whatever."
you lose anyone? And she said, I lost everyone.
I lost everyone.
And he's like, I served during Alderaan.
Yeah, yeah. I
Sorry
forgot
for
about
your
that.
loss.
Yeah. And he hands her at this point, is it a Resistance medal or a...
No, it's New Republic.
It's a New Republic? Okay,
Yeah.
so it's in between, like, Rebellion and...
But you pointed this out.
Yeah, so he hands her this, like, medallion thing, which is sick. They should sell it at Docks. Like, it would sell.
I
I'd
would
buy it.
love one
I'd
of
buy
those.
it. Yeah, so then he's like, if you change your mind, whatever, let us know. And then he walks away.
She's going to join.
You think so?
100%.
100%.
Dude, 100%.
Okay. So...
Yeah, she's a shock trooper.
Maybe if she didn't do some stuff on social media, we could have got a Cara Dune spinoff. But I don't think it's
saw
going to happen.
all that.
I don't think
and
it's going to happen now.
I don't think Disney's going to fire her.
No, they're not going to fire her, but they won't give her a spinoff.
I don't think they were going to do that anyway.
No,
But
that solidifies it, I think. They won't.
This is so ridiculous.
Yeah.
I love how like the people who are upset at her are the people who think that you should be open-minded. Are the most closed-minded people.
Yeah, yeah. If you have to
If you
talk
don't
about
think
how
like if
open-minded
you
you
don't
are.
think like me, you're wrong.
Yeah.
That's not being open-minded. What are you
No.
talking about?
Yep.
You're a dictator. You want compliance. Anyway, let's
So during this whole scene, and as he walks away, it's slowed down a lot, and it's in a more like low-key tone. But the March of the Resistance plays.
we broke it down. 'Cause
Yeah.
we were humming along to it.
Yeah, it's
It's
not
really
like sad, but it's like a somber March of the Resistance. Not somber, I guess.
It's definitely somber because
Yeah.
it's talking about all of the people she lost in Alderaan.
That's true.
And it's
So it's less
I
hopeful.
took it as a slow build
Yeah,
of the Resistance
because it's showing the Resistance is
It's
building.
being a slow build.
Yeah.
I loved it.
Mm-hmm. That was. I got goosebumps. I'm getting goosebumps
Oh,
right now thinking
so
and
good.
talking about it. Oh yeah, they even mention that the Imperial presence in the Outer Rim, like people don't believe it in the Inner Rim, like in the core world. He's like, people don't believe the Empire is still even a thing, but we come out here and we're like, we see it is. So that shows.
And we need
another-
people like you to help us. We need civilians like you guys to step up, essentially.
Yep.
Recruiting.
And
He's recruiting.
She's like, no, like I'm gonna take care. I'm gonna be the marshal. I'm just gonna do my thing here. But you can see it when she looks at the medal and like the
She's
the
got
music's
that
playing.
tattooed on her face. Remember?
Yeah.
She looks at that medal and she knows it's a part of her. She's got it
Yeah.
tattooed on her.
Yeah.
So that means more than people are realizing it does. Because I mean,
That's true.
that's a big deal to get a tattoo on your face.
A little bit.
It's a small one, but
It's
like
a big deal to get a tattoo anywhere,
Yeah.
but especially on your
Do
face.
you have any tattoos?
No,
I don't either.
I'm never getting any.
I don't think I will either.
Nope.
Me and Alex are supposed to get matching tattoos.
People with
at
tattoos are
Celebration.
crazy.
That's not.
what I've learned.
It's not always true, but
It's
sometimes.
in my experience, there's no such thing as luck in my experience.
I warned you. I warned you.
At some point, these are going to lead up to a lower level podcast.
Yeah,
and
it has to.
I'm okay with that.
Whew, I can't, that's the backlash from that's going to be intense. Anyway,
So then we don't know his name or his species, but this sketchy alien that fixed the Razor Crest beams, not beams, we're not Star Trek here, but sends a hologram up to the Arcadence class Star Cruiser.
I love his character design, by the way.
Yeah,
It felt very Force Awakens.
Yeah, strange, like circular eyes, and very Force Awakens. So he calls up who you said people are saying could be Ray Sloan.
I don't think it is.
I don't think it is. I'd love to see her. I hope we do, but not this character, this actor. I guess if that makes sense. I hope this one isn't her, but I hope
I
we
just
see
keep
Ray
saying
Sloan.
the name of that episode title in my head.
I'm not going to ever see it, I hope, until Friday. So this sketchy character calls her up, and he's like, we put the beacon on the Razor Crest like you wanted. And she's like, okay, good. So then she goes to talk to Moff Gideon. We finally see him in person this season. And he's looking awesome as ever with his cape and his black armor. He looks so sick. And she basically tells him the same stuff. And he's like, okay, we'll have a surprise for them when we track them down to wherever they're going. And we get this weird swell of his theme, which his theme is sick. And he's surrounded by, like, what are these things he's surrounded by? Are they just suits of armor? Are they droids?
Right? It's got to be droids because they wouldn't have
It's
suits
like-
of armor just prepared like that, would they?
I don't know. Especially shaped like that. They're not like human shaped. They're humanoid, but they're massive.
It
They're like
looks
Ben
like
Swallow.
droids.
Like,
And I think it's droids for sure because I think he knows that he doesn't trust droids.
good point.
Maybe,
They're a little bit.
maybe not Moff Gideon, but like
No.
the writers
Yeah.
know he doesn't trust droids.
Yeah. But Moff could know that because when he was shooting him down in the cantina in season 1, he's from the Imperial Security Bureau, and he was just dropping knowledge on all of them.
That's true.
Remember, he was like, Cara
Yeah.
Dune, you're a shock trooper from Alderaan.
Yeah.
And he's like, he tells us the Mando's name. Din Djarin, you're from yada. Like, so he
That's right.
knows. He knows
He might
everything
know.
about these people.
He could know.
But they're not exactly like these droids from Rebels. But the D1 Sentry droids
Yeah.
you see, they're a little bit like those.
I know which ones
So
you're
it
talking
could be
about.
like the next evolution of Imperial like Sentry droids.
It's definitely that. I don't think it's people, unless that's the armor that these clone things he's working on are going to wear.
Could have been 2, but the clones aren't ready, so he's not gonna have. How would he have a surprise ready for them if the clone things aren't ready?
I don't know.
So I don't know. They could be armor. We don't know, but we do see like a technician working on one of them in the background, and this technician is wearing the same
If
outfit.
they're working on it, it's a droid.
Well, especially because where this guy's from, he's wearing the same uniform that Galen Erso's research team is wearing.
No.
In Rogue One. They're called the Imperial Department of Military Research.
No way.
So yeah,
Oh, it's droids then.
they got to be droids.
It's got to be droids.
Yeah, so they're from that same department that Galen Erso was working in.
Oof.
So they're probably droids, probably, like I said, some kind of evolution of the Sentry droids.
That's dope.
But so I guess
didn't
we're going to
notice
see
that.
some droids.
We're going to
which-
see some battle droids, dude. In episode 13,
the battle droids. The dark saber, I don't know what it's called. I didn't see it like
you
you
can
did.
guess what it's called.
Probably.
Guess.
I'm not gonna.
I'm not going to say if you're right or wrong. But I
Yes,
wanna,
you will.
No, I won't. I really
know
won't.
you will.
I really won't. Come on.
It'd be funny if it was called the Civilian, because that's what Ahsoka is. She even says it to Mace Windu, I think. But because she's not a Jedi, but the title would be called the Jedi. I feel like, if it makes sense. Okay, you're not giving me any indication, so I hope she's not a Jedi. So if it's called the Jedi, it's not going to make sense.
What else do you think?
Not Wanderer, but like, what if you're just alone?
The
like,
Vagrant.
The Vagrant? Nah, that sounds too dirty.
The Gypsy.
The Gypsy, closer, something
Cancelled.
like that. That would make more sense, because she's just the Hermit. Nah, not a Hermit, but she's basically Obi-Wan at this point.
Hermit would be good.
Except Obi-Wan was still a Jedi, but Ahsoka's not. If I had to name it, guaranteed that Ahsoka's in it, it'd be something like that, where it's like the Wanderer, or like the Hermit, something like that. But it's probably the Jedi, which doesn't make sense, which is weird because it's Dave Filoni, and he knows what he's doing. So maybe it's titled that way because at the end of the episode, she's like, "I'll be a Jedi," or I don't know. I don't know at all. I don't want to know until Friday, but we will see. And then hopefully we see Gideon the following episode, but battle Ahsoka.
You think? I think they're going to do what they did last time and make the last 2 episodes like one big episode.
Yeah, I hope so. We got 4 left.
I
So-
know. And we kind of know what's going to happen next week.
Yeah, prediction-wise, chapter 13, right?
Yes.
Yeah. 13 is going to be Ahsoka. We both think. Okay, so chapter 14, what do you think that's going to be? Is that just going to be Gideon discovering where they're at?
Yeah, I think you're going to see at the end of next week's episodes, however the hell it pans out, I think you're going to see Moff Gideon land on that planet.
Okay, and then 15 and 16 are just the battle, the fight between Gideon.
And then
okay.
it's going to be some sort of a cliffhanger.
Maybe that's how the season ends. He captures Ahsoka, and he's going to go take her blood, and that's
I
it.
just want to know who's going to play Ahsoka.
I believe
really
the rumors
hope it's
now.
Ashley Eckstein.
After the Bo-Katan rumors coming true, I believe it's going to be Rosario. We still
I
have that
think so,
Spira bet
too.
at 5 Spira.
I think so too. What did I say? Ashley
You
Eckstein?
said, yeah, Ashley. I said no version of Ashley at all. No voice, no actor, nothing. I say it's going to be Dawson.
You're right. Such a bummer. I know you're right. Just in my heart.
But it might not
I
be
just
a
wanted
bummer.
to be Ashley Eckstein
It might
so
not
bad.
be a bummer, though. Like, they haven't done anything wrong. Like,
No.
I trust them.
I just don't get why you would do it with one person who's not as close to that character as Ashley Eckstein is to Ahsoka. It just bothers me.
Yeah. No, I mean, I get that, too. Because they're, like we said, I forget when, but a few episodes ago, they're the most, like, connected actor to character ever
By
in
far.
Star Wars. Like, yeah, because she was animated before the character was live action. So it's
Yeah.
not like Mark Hamill, where, like, he was just the live action version from day one, which he's probably second, right? Maybe.
I mean,
Has anyone
Han
ever-
Solo and Harrison Ford are pretty inseparable, but he's also
Yeah.
Indiana Jones and is like a respected actor.
Yeah.
Not that Ashley Eckstein isn't,
Or Mark Hamill. Like,
or
they
Mark
all
Hamill,
are.
but
like,
I mean, you know, outside of Star Wars,
yeah. Right.
he's really,
Yeah.
you know,
He's done
The
other
Fugitive,
things.
Blade
Yeah.
Runner, you know, that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And not that they're not equally talented. It's just kind of how it worked out, right?
Yeah.
And I think Ashley Eckstein, you know, she does the whole her universe line and all that kind of stuff. But
Yeah.
I just feel like for Star Wars fans, especially like a lot of girl fans, really like Ahsoka.
Yeah, it's true. And I mean, she's such a huge part of the fan base as well. Like, she goes to Batuu all the time. She goes to all the conventions. She goes to, you name it.
She's like an
there.
ambassador for Star Wars.
Yeah.
A lot like Mark Hamill is.
In every way positively possible.
Yeah.
Like, she's the perfect ambassador. So, I mean,
She's awesome.
I wish it was her. I hope it's her, but I won't be disappointed when it's not. Because I trust them. I think they'll be fine. I think everything they've done is fine.
Would you be okay if they do actor with a different voice, so like she does ADR over it?
Yeah, I'd love that too. That's fine
Okay.
too. I don't think it's gonna happen, like I said. 'Cause I'm saying Ashley.
I just feel like
all.
like I would like to get in contact with Ashley Eckstein and just be like, "Are you okay?" Like I feel like that would bother you.
Maybe, but I don't think she's the type of person that would actually let it get to her. Like, she seems genuine and sweet, and like
I think you can
she
be
is.
genuine and sweet and still
Yeah.
let things bother you.
Oh yeah, but you can go. I think she will go about it the best way possible if that
Mm.
does happen, and if it does bother her. We have no idea. I've only met her once. I don't know her, so
Holly like knows her.
yeah, that's pretty. Sick.
They're not like buddies, but
No.
like she remembered her name last time we saw her.
She does that with everyone. Like, if you meet her more than once, she remembers your name.
Yeah, it's so weird. I don't
So
get people
if
like
I ever
that.
do meet her again, she'll be like, "Hey,
I don't
Evan,
remember.
it's-"
I don't remember your name.
I don't. What's my who?
Something.
I forget.
Yvonne.
Oh yeah, I forgot that was the name. I'm gonna write that down so I can use it.
Yvonne.
My Star Wars name, Yvonne.
All right, friends, that's the end of this episode wrap up. Episode 12, The Siege. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I certainly did. We'll see you guys next week for episode 13, probably the best episode yet.
Do we have any lightsaber quiz answers?
I honestly didn't check.
People, go answer that lightsaber question. It's a cool segment. I want to keep doing it. I want
think
Brad
people-
to stump me.
I think people would just...
Maybe we can just
Not sure.
stump each other then if people don't want to play along.
Also, too, remember that everyone that listens to this show doesn't necessarily listen to the other show. Because there's people who listen to the wrap-up show because
That's
they
true.
love
We
The
did it.
Mandalorian.
We did it in a wrap-up show, though, didn't we?
No.
No. Oh.
No.
Maybe we should do it in a wrap-up show. Do you want to stump me right now? Do you have
Yeah.
desired abilities to do so?
Do I have a blade? Yeah, I have a blade.
do?
All right, yeah.
Okay,
Close
I'm
your
gonna
eyes.
close my
Explain the game while I look for this.
Okay. All right, so Brad has many, many legacy lightsabers. 13 legacy lightsabers. And we're both massive Star Wars nerds. 11. Okay, not as many. He's a letdown. Disappointment. But I was like, okay, I'm going to see how iconic some of these ignition sounds are. And I only have, I think, 4 legacy, so I don't have as many, obviously. But I was playing around with them, and I'm like, okay, this one's obviously, like the easiest one is Kylo Ren's. So I'm like, this is Kylo Ren's. But I'm like, how easy would it be with other ones? The most iconic, you know? So I was like, somebody could easily try to stump the other using these lightsaber ignitions. So we're closing our eyes. We can't even see what color the blade is. We can't see what hilt it is. So we're just going to guess, based upon the ignition sounds alone, what saber is in front of us. And we're doing the giveaway for our sick lightsaber mugs that they change color. The lightsabers themselves on the mugs ignite when you put coffee in them. So what better tie-in to use actual lightsabers, I thought. So if you can guess correctly what lightsaber ignition this is, we'll send you these sick mugs.
They're pretty dope. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
I've made my selection.
I won't give my answer here on the show, but once it's revealed off air to me, and once we get answers from listeners, we can reveal what blade it is.
Ready?
I'm ready. Okay. I think I've got my answer. Yep, I've got my answer. I can tell by the way it goes back.
Shit.
Okay, so he's going to keep the hilt covered, and off air, I will tell him my answer. Okay, I'm going to... Can I take my hand off my face?
1 second.
Okay.
Oh. Yeah, you're good.
Okay. I think I've got my answer.
All right, you ready?
Yeah.
All right, we're in the show now. We'll see you guys next week. May the force be with you. Always.